thoughts on the whole thing?
It was a surprise. To be completely, it was. I think it's fair to say that our side felt blindsided by the whole thing. I know it took a long time and it was taking a long time, but I thought we were making progress, and certainly we didn't expect that have the rug pulled out from under us. But the reality is, there are a lot of interesting fights, for Spence. I know the one thing we know about Errol is, and he's said it repeatedly and he's backed it up, he doesn't do tune-up fights.
So Steven Espinoza is shocked. He's really surprised that Terrence Crawford pulled out the fight because he said we were making progress. Even though Terrence Crawford informed him, I'm going to fight at the end of the year. It was either Spence or somebody. I'm going to get a fight in 2022. And you hear all these fanboys, narrative pushers talking about Terrence Crawford ducked Errol Spence. If that's the case, why is Terrence Crawford talking about, I'm going to fight Amnesia, then I'm going to come back and beat down Spence? And not just that, you have Steven Espinoza said out of his own mouth, after Terrence Crawford, if he's successful against Amnesia, I want to go back and try to make that fight. Why would you try to make a fight if somebody is ducking another fighter? Obviously, if he's ducking Spence, he doesn't want the fight. He's scared to fight Spence. Yet, Crawford wants to come back to the table. Also, Espinoza wants to come back to the table and try to make this fight. And another statement I hear people use, and I endorsed that statement at one time. Errol Spence has the better resume at 147. More like Errol Spence has the better name. Errol Spence says he does not take tune-ups. But before the Danny Garcia fight, he admitted that Danny Garcia is a tune-up. How many top-tier fighters are you supposed to beat at 70%? We are talking about the best in the division, the top 147 pounders. Spence said he could walk in there at 70% and beat Danny Garcia. How good is Danny Garcia? And who has Danny Garcia beat at 147? I said myself, the best weight for Danny Garcia was at 140. And then let's talk about Kell Brook. Kell Brook was destroyed by Triple G when he went up in weight in 160. Came down and fought Spence. Kell Brook was already damaged goods. So when it comes to both of those guys fighting Kell Brook, I like Terrence Crawford's performance better, but Kell Brook was not the same fighter after Triple G beat him. So I'm going to give it an even Steven, because neither one of these guys fought Kell Brook at their best. Now, a lot of people thought Errol Spence was going to stop Sean Porter. He told Terrence Crawford himself, Sean Porter's an easy route. What happened in that fight? He had to go to hell and back to win that fight. I think the knockdown was a difference, which gave Spence the split decision. A lot of other people thought Sean Porter won that fight. In Crawford's case, there was no debate. Crawford became the only man in boxing to stop Showtime Sean Porter. And still, fanboys will make an excuse. Well, Sean Porter was on his way out anyway. Porter was competitive in that fight, and he gave a very valiant effort. Was just in there with a better fighter. In Spence's case, you did not see much separation between him and Errol Spence. Just keeping it real. Ugas is a decent fighter. But Ugas had 4 losses going to the Errol Spence fight. Ugas' best win is over Manny Pacquiao, which Manny Pacquiao is clearly past his prime. The funny thing is, Crawford offered all those guys fights, and they didn't want to fight him. They'd rather fight Spence. Spence has 3 belts. Crawford has 1. Spence obviously has more belts. But his resume is not that much better than Terrence Crawford's at 147. Spence has the better name. But I bet you fanboys want to count Mikey Garcia too. He fought Mikey Garcia at 147, right? That's his biggest pay-per-view. I bet you want to count Mikey Garcia, who's naturally a 135-pounder. If Crawford was ducking the fight, why would they go back to the negotiation table with him? Make it make sense. Because in my book, when someone's ducking another fighter, he doesn't want no part of him. He wants to get out the way. He don't want to see him anymore. But Crawford promised to come back. He said, I'm going to come back and beat him down. Steven Espinoza even said, when Crawford gets done, if he's successful against Amnesia, I want him to come back. I still want to make the fight. Anyway, leave your thoughts and comments below. JBZ, I'm gone.